Hello everyone, welcome to our Vinyasa flow class. Let's begin using 2 blocks in a shoulder opening variation of child's pose. So take your 2 blocks please and place them on their lowest height across your mat. And then have your feet together. You can decide to have your knees together or apart, whatever's more comfortable for you. And then before you come down into child's pose, extend your arms forward, palms face down. And then from your shoulder sockets, rotate your upper arm bones externally. So you wrap the triceps towards the ground, rolling the shoulder blades wider apart and away from your neck. And then place your bent elbows, shoulders distance apart onto the blocks. Press your fingertips into each other. And this is actually a mudra. All 5 fingertips touching each other is called, it's a mudra that promotes the feeling of wholeness and integration. So we'll begin with that, and then you can scoot your knees back if needed so that you're able to lower your head towards the floor while tracing your thumbs down the back of your head, down the back of your neck, as far back as you can reach, while keeping your elbows shoulders distance. Now as you let your chest and head sink towards the ground, feel your armpits hollow and lift as you press your shoulder blades further down your back ribs. We'll be here for a few breaths, just tuning in to how you're naturally breathing. Moment here to check in with how you're feeling in your physical outermost layer of being, Annamaya Kosha. Energetically, Prana Maya Kosha. And then even more subtly, how you feel in mind and emotions, Mano Maya Kosha. Here's a brief quote or an ancient proverb by the Buddha. With single-mindedness, the master quells his thoughts. He ends their wandering. Seated in the cave of his heart, he finds freedom. Your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own thoughts, unguarded. But once mastered, no one can help you as much, not even your father or your mother. And so that's the theme of this practice, single-mindedness. How do we cultivate that focus of mind that enables us to take the reins of our thoughts, as we practiced yesterday in our thought monitoring meditation? Let's begin with a breath, inhaling a little slower, filling up into your rib cage, into your belly. Let any sound release as you open the lips, completely emptying the breath. Even deeper inhalation, lengthening through the crown, lengthening through the tailbone. Even longer exhalation, all the way out through the mouth. A couple more breaths in this position you're in. As you audibly sound your breath, begin to balance as slowly that you breathe in with as slowly that you breathe out. Finding a smooth transition between inhale and exhale. I invite you to breathe just through your nose if you can, so we can start to warm up the body from the inside out, preparing it for safe movement. You might also narrow the back of your throat, engaging your mind in a gentle whisper, Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breath. And then now, slowly pressing your hands onto the ground beside your knees, roll your spine slowly upright to sit. Placing your hands together at your heart as you take a moment to bow in and set a heart-rooted intention for your practice, sankalpa, or to dedicate the efforts you put into this hour for someone or something you care about. And sending that out and feeling the resonance within, let's take one chant of Om together. Deeply inhale. Breathing in through the nose, smooth exhale, balancing breath. And then as you release your hands, come to stand on our knees with the toes tucked, as if you're preparing for camel pose, but we're not going there. Take one of your blocks by the skinniest width, hug it firmly between your thighs, toes tucked behind, and just take a moment to use your hands to massage your lower back so the tailbone more actively descends towards the ground between your knees. So you feel how your frontal hip bones slightly lift, seal in the bottom of your front ribs, elongate the lower back. And then with that, keeping your hips right above your knees, take your second block. And as you extend your arms forward, palms pressing into the block, wrap your triceps again towards the ground, like we prepared for the ladder posture, so that your pinky fingers are more what's pressing into the block. Now keeping your shoulders dropped away from your neck, lift up through the center line of your body, through your crown, down through each vertebra, tailbone descends, keep hugging in your front ribs, and as you inhale, slowly lift your arms up, overhead to the amount that your shoulders can stay relaxed. They don't begin to shrug. And as you exhale, slowly reaching the arms straight forward, down in front of your thighs. Let's try that 3 times more. Inhale, slowly lift your arms up. Right under the shoulder blades, contract. Maybe you roll the shoulders back, lifting the chest a little more. And then exhale, arms forward and down. So treat it like a half sun salutation almost. Inhale, arms slowly up. Keep dropping the tailbone as you coil the chest up. Exhale the arms forward and down. We're gonna add on in this last round. Inhale, slowly lifting your arms. Keep hugging the block between your thighs. Imagine you're trying to shoot the block behind you. Keep dropping the tailbone so you're not compressing the lower back. Now arms are still lifted. Bend your elbows to point towards the front wall. Imagine you're squeezing a wide block between your elbows so they don't flare apart, wider than your shoulders distance. And then can you press the tops of your shoulders further down? Hug your front ribs towards your back body. Drop the tailbone like an anchor. And then begin to bring the block behind your head like a pillow. Now elbows keep hugging towards each other. Lift your back ribs. And then roll your shoulders behind your ears, pressing them down as you coil your chest up, using that block pillow to help lengthen the back of your neck. Let's take 3 more breaths here, spreading the collarbones wide apart into a big smile. Tailbone descends, not leaning behind you. 1 more deep breath. Contracting your belly, slowly lift your spine upright. Place the 2 blocks outside of your mat on left and right. And then come down to hands and knees. Let's take a few rounds of Vinyasa, cat-cow to your pace of breath. Inhaling, glide your chest forward and up. Exhaling, hollow your belly, round your back. Keep going, maybe about 4 more cycles of breath. As you finish this last round, fingers widely spread, index fingers parallel pointing forward, tuck your toes, and lift your pelvis high and back, downward facing dog. And feel free to take the first few breaths if you need to just shift around any way you like. Perhaps pedaling your feet in place to warm up your hamstrings, calves. Maybe shaking your head and relaxing the neck. And then same thing as before, wrap your triceps towards the floor. Lift the shoulders away from your neck. Seal your front ribs in. Feel free to bend your knees any amount so you're not rounding the back here. Draw the navel in. And then feel your heels become heavier and heavier, even if they don't touch the ground. As you look back at your feet, see your feet hips width parallel so that your inner heels are invisible from where you are. And then steady your eyes on one spot. 3 more deep breaths. Though this is a breath-led flow style of class, as you fine-tune a slow, even breath, let it become a meditative, mindful movement. Nothing rushed, everything with intention here. As you bend your knees, lift your heels and hips high, look forward past your hands, take a deep breath. Empty your breath completely, then hold it out. Think of lifting your pelvic floor as you walk or take a few light hops to the front of your mat, standing forward folds. Press your shin to the ground. Inhale, draw your heart through the gates of your upper arms, lengthen forward. Exhale, hinging from your hips, keep your weight towards the fronts of your heels. Bend the knees any amount needed. Inhale, sweep your arms, slowly rise to the pace of your in-breath. Watch your palms meet in salutation. Tracing your midline, exhale, down the center, mountain pose. Surya Namaskar A, 3 times. Inhale, sweep the arms high. Exhale, bow forward. Press to inhale, rise halfway. Carefully plant your hands, step into your plank, knees down or legs straight. Continue to glide forward through Chaturanga Dandasana. Come all the way down for Cobra or halfway down for Upward Dog, grounding through the tops of your feet as you coil your chest open. Engage your belly to draw your tailbone up and back. Downward Facing Dog. We're going to add a variation to this Surya Namaskar. Lifting from the inseam of the leg, inhale, raise your right leg behind you. As you exhale, bend your right knee towards your nose, contract the belly to step the foot lightly as you can right between your hands. Spin the back heel down, aligning front heel to arch of back foot. Pressing through your feet, inhale, windmill your arms, rise to Warrior 1, Warrior 2. As you exhale, lower to plank. Continue down through Chaturanga Dandasana, either Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. Exhale, Downward Facing Dog for side 2. Lift from the inseam, inhale, raise the left leg slowly, keeping the hips leveled. Hollow your belly, exhale, round forward, step the foot through between the hands. Back heel down, align heel to arch. Root down, inhale, rise, arms wide open, Warrior 2. Exhale, hands to the ground. This is a breath-led movement. Plank, continue through Chaturanga. Shoulder blades down the back. Inhale, spread the chest wide open. Hollow your belly. Exhale, Downward Facing Dog. Now, steady your body, gaze and breath. 3 to 5 cycles of breathing. Utilizing these moments of stillness for sharpening concentration. Dharana is the practice of concentration. And so that's our variation of Surya Namaskar A. We'll take it twice more. Bend your knees, look forward. On empty breath, walk or float to the top. Inhale, press to rise halfway. Exhale, bow in. Rooting down, inhale, rise completely. To your center line, exhale, stable in mountain pose. Let's try one more together, one more on your own. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift your heart, rise halfway. Step into plank or lightly float into Chaturanga. Choose your way. Inhale to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. With the breath, lift the right leg from the inseam. Hollow your belly round to step the foot through. Align heel to arch. Inhale, rise, warrior two. Exhale, lower with intent. Follow the breath down. Vinyasa. Inhale to lift the heart. Exhale, back to downward facing. From the inseam, inhale, raise the left leg. Hollow through the center. Exhale, step the foot through. Heel to arch. Inhale, root down to rise. Exhale, ride the wave down, chaturanga. Finish it off to downward facing dog. Remember, you have options if you need to vary the movement. You can replace the plank with cat-cow. You can step straight to downward dog. You can take child's pose. Listen to your breath here and tune into how it's giving you information. A barometer of how you're balancing your effort with ease. We'll wrap up this round, and then the third round, on your own at your breath pace. Bend your knees, look forward. On empty breath, walk or float to the top. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, fold in. Rooting down, inhale, rise all the way. Exhale, trace your midline. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Finish it all the way through and through both sides of warrior two. Take rest if you need. You can place your knees on the floor. There's another variation of downward dog that's available, which is hips stacking right above knees, arms extended forward, belly firming in like a flat back. So whatever your variation, how are you honoring your body right now? Let's take another 3 to 5 breaths. And then let's bring the knees to the floor. Please take one of your blocks, and by the skinniest width of the block, hug it right in between your ankles. So the inner edges of your feet and your ankles. And then we'll use this to bring a sense of hugging in towards the midline. And then let's tuck the toes behind, press the heels back. You might have to adjust that block so it's not the tall ways, it's the long ways. And then stack your shoulders right over your wrists, come into plank pose. Now lift the navel, lift the belly, the sides of the waist. Bend your knees for a moment and then tuck the tailbone down. And then use that tailbone down to feel your lower abdomen engage even more. Keep that engagement. And now press your inner heels back as you hug the block between your ankles. Try to create that feeling of a strong straight line from crown of the head down the center line of your body through your heels. Shoulders are right over the wrists. Spread your fingers, press the ground away, and breathe. 2 more breaths in plank pose. Now lower your knees, put that block aside. Take a moment in child's pose, maybe 3 slow breaths, arms wherever you like. Listen to what your breath is telling you here. You might even gently shake your head no, just helping to loosen the neck a bit. Now imagine you have that block still right between your ankles. Come forward to hands and knees to place your elbows on the floor, preparing for forearm plank. As your elbows are on the floor, see that they are exactly your shoulders distance. Let's interlace the fingers here, pressing the outsides of your wrist into the ground so you can actually feel a lift away from the ground. It creates space in your shoulders. Notice that difference of sinking down and rooting down to lift up. So do the latter and then press the shoulder blades back. Wrap your triceps back like you would in downward dog. And now tuck your toes, bring your feet together. Think of tucking the tailbone a little bit so you ignite the lower belly and then press your inner heels back. Now look forward of your hands on the floor and open your chest. 3 more breaths. Lift the sides of your waist. Lift the lower belly. Relax the face. Smile. You got 1 more breath. Exhale, lower your knees, lower your pelvis, Sphinx pose. Separate your forearms parallel, palms face down. And now let's take a few breaths. You might like to gently turn your head in any direction here. Just making sure your neck is loose, jaw is loose, perhaps flutter the lips. As you bring your knees close together, fan out your toes and think of your big toes trying to touch your rear walls. Really extend the big toes back. Notice if you can feel some lengthening in your tailbone and lower back as you reach the big toes back. So continue that reach and now press your pinky toenails into the floor. Really get rooted so the knees are not resting on the ground. And with your forearms still, draw your shoulder heads behind your ears and press them down. Open the chest with 2 to 3 more breaths here. Can you feel space through all the sides of your neck, even the back? Great. Now interlace your fingers the other way, so the opposite thumb and index. Keep your elbows exactly shoulders width. Tuck your toes. Bring your feet together again. Look down at your belly, scoop it off the floor. Take a deep breath, press the floor with your forearms, and lift your pelvis back to forearm plank. 5 breaths here. Inhale, draw the chest forward, look ahead. Exhale, 5. Long through the neck, shoulder blades down the back. Keep breathing. Energize your legs as the tailbone lengthens towards your inner heels. Your inner heels are firming back towards the rear wall. 2 more breaths. Lift the belly, at the sides of the waist. Smile, we're on the last breath here. Lower your knees. Place your hands on the ground. Downward facing dog. Let's take 2 deep cleansing lion's breaths. Sirsasana. Inhale. Tongue out, open the mouth, make any sound. Ah. Last one, deep breath. Let it out. Ah. Slowly walk your hands towards your feet. And using your peace fingers, the index and middle, clasp your big toes. Feet are hips width apart, parallel. Feel free to bend your knees any amount here. As you inhale, draw your heart forward. Shift more weight towards the front of your hips. Feel the shoulders move back. Exhale, hinge from your hips, pulling yourself into the forward fold. Remember, knees can stay bent. Dropping your head, maybe flare the elbows apart, let the shoulders rise away from your neck. Let's take that one more time. Inhale, half forward fold, reach the chest forward. Exhale, full forward fold. Drop the head completely. Take a few breaths. Unclasp your big toes. Press to your feet. Inhale, circle your arms, rising all the way up to stand. Interlace your fingers, palms flip inside out. Drop the shoulders, hug the front ribs in. Exhale, side bend to the right. Press the left foot deeper into the ground. Firm your lower belly. Inhale, rise through center. Exhale, side bend to the left. Press the right foot firmly into the ground. Inhale up to center. Open your arms like a swan dive. Exhale, forward fold. Crawl your hands forward to downward facing dog. So we're entering a new flow sequence. Let's set it up slowly. Lifting from the inseam of your leg. Inhale, raise the right foot behind you. Hollowing your belly. Exhale, lightly step the foot through to a high lunge so your feet are hips width apart, parallel. Bend the back knee, front knee is right over the heel. Inhale, rise up to crescent pose, arms reaching overhead. And let's pause here. As you bend the back knee, let your tailbone anchor down. Rotate your left outer hip forward. Tack the right hip back. Feel a slight lift of your frontal hip bones. Powerful and stable at your center. Arms reaching up, shoulders resting down. Your option to straighten the left leg. From crescent pose, inhale, bring your palms together in prayer. You can bend the elbows if needed. Keep the elbows no wider than shoulders width apart. Wrap your triceps forward. And then start to trace your thumbs down the back of your skull like we did at the very beginning in child's pose. Now you could take that mudra where you hollow the center of your palms, all the fingertips touch. Now keep dropping the tailbone, lift the back ribs away from it, and begin to coil your chest up. Right under the shoulder blades contract so your heart tilts towards the sky. Notice your elbows, keep hugging them close together. Try not to flare them apart wider than shoulders width. Let's take another breath in. Keep the belly firm as you exhale. Look at the ground ahead of your right foot. Plant your fingertips a foot forward. You can use blocks if needed. Drag the left foot forward. Flex it off the ground. Variation of Warrior 3. Take a moment here to tack your right outer hip back. To roll your left outer hip down. Horizontal line from torso to left leg. Inhale, point your left toes, get really long through that horizontal line. Shiva squat, what it's called. Exhale, bend both knees and cross the left leg behind your right leg as if you're about to sit down for a seated twist, but don't. Inhale, re-extend into the horizontal line of Warrior 3. Exhale, walk the hands closer to your right foot, standing splits. Lift the left leg from the inseam as you bow. Inhale, rise halfway, lift the chest. Exhale from plank, lower down, Vinyasa or cat-cow, or straight to downward facing dog, you choose. Downward facing dog, take a long breath. Spread the fingers, inhale, raise left leg from the inseam. Round through the belly, exhale, step the foot through to a high lunge. Feet or hips width apart, inhale, rise into crescent, bending your back knee. Use the bend in the back knee to feel tailbone drop down, frontal hip bones slightly lift, right outer hip rotates forward, left outer hip tacks back, front knees right over the heel. Extend up to your arms. Soften down through your shoulders, deep breath. Now as you rotate your triceps forward, press your palms to meet. Bend your elbows. Keep them no wider than shoulders width and trace your thumbs down the back of your skull towards the back of your neck. Notice your lower back here. Drop the tailbone, lift the back ribs, lengthen the lower back as you coil your chest up. Whatever your degree, let's take another 2 breaths. Keep the belly lifted. Look forward. Place your hands a foot in front of your left toes. Drag your right foot forward, rising into Warrior 3. Point your right toes, elongate through this horizontal line. Right hip turns down, left hip tacks back. Inhale. Exhale, Shiva squat. Cross the right knee behind the left as you bend both knees. Almost about to sit down, but not. Inhale, back to Warrior 3. Walk the hands closer to your left foot, standing split. Lifting from the inseam of the right leg. Doesn't matter how high it is, but try to keep your 2 hips leveled. Take a deep breath, lift your chest. Walk the hands back, step into plank and lower. You choose your vinyasa or none. We'll meet in downward facing dog. It's time, 3 slow breaths, creating a pace that will guide you through 1 breath each motion. From downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg from the inseam. Exhale, round forward, step into a high lunge. Root down, inhale, rise, palms touch in crescent pose. Wrap the triceps forward, exhale, trace the thumbs down the back of your neck, coil the chest up. Inhale, reach for the blocks or the floor, foot ahead of your right foot, raise the left leg, Warrior 3. Exhale, Shiva squat, bend both knees, you're about to sit. Inhale, re-extend, Warrior 3. Exhale, bow into the right leg, standing splits. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, step into plank and lower. You choose your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. In downward dog, inhale, raise the left leg from the inseam. Exhale, round forward, step into a high lunge. Inhale, rise, crescent, palms touch overhead. Exhale, bend the elbows, trace the thumbs down the back of your neck. Inhale, reach for the ground or the blocks, a foot ahead, lifting into Warrior 3. Exhale, Shiva squat, bend the knees, you're about to sit. Inhale, re-extend, Warrior 3. Exhale, bow into standing split. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, step to plank, take it where you need to go. We'll meet in downward facing for a few breaths. Three to 5. Sharpening your tools for concentration. Steady breath, steady gaze, steady body. Last round, same sequence. Inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale, round forward, high lunge. Inhale, rise, palms touch, crescent pose. Exhale, bend the elbows, trace the thumbs down the back of your neck. Inhale, plant your hands, lean forward to Warrior 3. Exhale, bend the knees, Shiva squat. Inhale, re-extend, Warrior 3. Exhale, bow in, standing split. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, step to plank, choose your vinyasa. When you arrive, your own pace of breath, downward dog. Last side, inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, round forward, high lunge. Inhale, palms touch, crescent pose. Exhale, trace the thumbs, coil your chest. Inhale, place your hands, lean into warrior three. Exhale, bend your knees, Shiva squat. Inhale, re-extend, warrior three. Exhale, bow, lift the right leg, standing splits. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, step back, flow or no flow. It's time landing, child's pose or downward facing. 5 full balanced breaths. Steady your gaze. Back to the intention that inspired you to show up here today. And then please place your knees on the floor. Take a strap. You can sit on your shins if that feels okay. If it doesn't, you can bring your legs in front. Maybe prop your pelvis up on a block if that's more comfortable. Take a strap. You might use it, or you might need it, you might not, but start with it. Hold it from your left hand. Raise your left arm, so the tail of the strap is behind you. And then use your right hand to guide your left tricep to rotate forward. Plug both shoulders down and bring your bent left elbow behind your skull so your left palm is right between your shoulder blades. Reach your right hand underneath, grab the other end of the strap. Walk your hands as close together as you can. And now you might clasp your hands and not need a strap, or you might not. See what's available here. Seal in the bottom of your front ribs so the belly is slightly engaged. And then focus on the length of your spine. So stretch the tailbone down, lift the crown, open the chest, and perhaps add a back bend right beneath the shoulder blades, creating the bend to lift your chest towards the sky. 3 more breaths. But notice, if you are back bending, does your tailbone begin to sway behind you like mine likes to do? If so, drop the tailbone down. You think of pulling it forward, and then create the back bend again. 1 more deep breath. And then as you exhale, release the arms, maybe shimmy out the shoulders or shake out the arms. Let's take the strap from the right hand. Raise your right arm. Dangle the tail behind you. Use your left hand. Bring the right tricep forward. Bring the right elbow behind your skull so the right palm is right between the shoulder blades. Reach the left hand under, grab the other end of the strap. Walk your hands as close together as you can, maybe your fingers clasp. Seal in the bottom of your front ribs. Root your tailbone downward. And breathe in, lift up, broaden the chest, lift up the crown. You might begin to coil your chest up. But be aware of where your tailbone starts to point. Try to keep lengthening it down. Two more breaths. And then when you're ready, release. Maybe shake out the arms, maybe jiggle out the head. So let's play with some inversions. Woohoo! And we'll start in dolphin pose. So as you're standing on your shins, extend your arms forward like we've been doing. Wrap the triceps down. Interlace your fingers So you make a little snail out of your pinky fingers, and then plug your elbows on the floor exactly your shoulders distance apart. Now take a moment here as your knees are on the floor to sink your chest towards the ground and to press your shoulder blades back away from your neck. Now lift the belly into the back. Bring the front ribs into the back body. Feel that? And then look towards your thumbs. Tuck your toes, bring your feet together, and then scoop the belly in to lift your hips. Breathe. See if you might be able to walk your feet closer to the front of your mat here. Together. You might play with lifting from the inseam of the leg, raising one leg up high and flexing or pointing the foot, hugging your hips towards your midline. And then you might play with switching sides if you're doing that. Just a few more breaths here. Whenever you feel ready to rest from this pose, come down to your knees in child's pose and just let your arms rest down by your legs. You might turn your head to one side. When you're resting, take about 3 breaths. Head to the other side if you're doing that. And then press the ground to slowly roll up on an inhale. So, if you have no injuries in your neck or shoulders, no glaucoma in the eyes, no high or low blood pressure, those are the contraindications to Sirsasana headstand, I'd like to guide you through the stages of moving towards Sirsasana headstand without a wall. And then you just take it to the point that your body says, right here is enough. So interlace your fingers. Otherwise, if you do have any of those contraindications, take dolphin pose again, the variation that you choose. Now let's interlace the fingers, the triceps down, place your elbows on the floor exactly shoulders distance. Take a look at that triangular base you've created with your forearms and elbows. It's an equilateral triangle, right? All the angles are the same. Now, open up your palms, those of you entering headstand. Find the very tip-top crown of your head to place on the ground so the back of your skull is very lightly supported by your palms. Now, breathe here. Use your elbows to press the floor away so that you can lift the shoulders up. Create space in your neck. Not much weight on your head in a headstand. Tuck your toes, scoop the belly in, take a deep breath, and then lift your pelvis. Walk your feet forward any amount you can closer, and now you can keep your feet on the floor while your head is lightly on the floor. Notice that it's your arms really working here, your shoulders, your upper back. Forearms are pressing down, shoulders are lifting up, breathe. Now you might lift from the inseam of the leg and start to lift one leg, flex or point the foot. Notice what happens to your lower back or your front ribs. So draw in the belly, seal the front ribs in, and lift the tailbone towards the lifted heel. Maybe you come up to the ball of the standing foot. Start to play with stacking the pelvis right above your shoulders. And then you can always come down when you're ready. You can always come back to child's pose when you're ready to rest. We're going to play with this one more time. So if you are lifting a leg, try not to turn out the leg. Keep the 2 hips facing forward. And then when you're ready to come into child's pose, give your shoulders a rest by wrapping the arms down by your sides. You might turn one ear to the ground. Few breaths. And then the other ear to the ground. Now we'll set up one last time, whether you're playing with dolphin pose or Sirsasana headstand. Maybe interlacing the other thumb and index on top. Triceps wrapping down, elbows plugging, shoulders width apart on the floor. Find that triangular base, that equilateral. Melt the chest towards the ground, but press the shoulders away from the ears. Hollow your belly, breathe, and lift the hips. Walk the feet forward any amount you can, closer to the elbows. Press your chest towards your thighs. but hug your front ribs in towards your back. Maybe lift a leg. So crown of the head might be on the floor here. Now, if you are lifting a leg and you're on the ball of the standing foot, keep your lifted leg straight, solid, hips squared, and then you can use that to kind of pull off the bottom foot from the floor. Maybe you start to create an L shape out of your legs, like Warrior 3, upside down. Maybe your bottom foot meets the upper foot and you hug them together, squeezing your midline like you're hugging a block between your ankles. Reach your tailbone up towards the heel, inner heel of the lifted foot. Hug the front ribs in. You might be a vertical line now, like an upside down mountain pose. How's your breath? Stay any amount of breaths you need, and we'll meet in child's pose one more time. Long exhalations through the mouth when you're resting. Cooling off there. Place your hands alongside your knees and inhale, roll your shoulders back. Slowly rise to sit. And just pause a moment here as you come upright, noticing what you feel, mind, body, energetically. Take a block with you as you come to lie down on your back, bending your knees. Set your feet on the ground. Use the block to hug the skinniest width right between your thighs, preparing for bridge. Arms down by your sides, feet where you could almost touch your heels with your fingertips. Parallel your feet, press the ground with your shoulders, lifting your hips for a count of 5 or more breaths. Walk your upper arms closer together under your back ribs. Maybe the hands meet to clasp, maybe they don't. Draw your tailbone forward towards the block. Engage your hamstrings at the backs of your thighs. And open your throat, tilt your chin slightly back. Deep inhales. And as you're ready, slowly lower upper back, middle back, tailbone last. Take the block, place it underneath your sacrum, coming into supported bridge pose. Stay here or lift both legs up, coming into supported shoulder stand. Some of you might choose to practice Salamba Sarvangasana shoulder stand without a block, as long as you don't have any injuries in your neck. You take about 10 deep breaths in your cooling inversion. So notice the difference between the effects of a headstand or dolphin pose, which are energizing and heating inversions, and shoulder stand, which is a cooling inversion. They're often called the king and queen asanas. Shoulder stand is the queen asana. Take your last few exhales through your mouth. Some of you might move into plow if you're vertically in shoulder stand, where you bring the legs overhead, halasana. And then as you're ready, gently lower your entire body to the floor, pelvis to the ground. Prepare for a supine twist. Bend your right knee into your chest and slide your left leg forward. Scoot your pelvis maybe another 3 inches towards the right edge of your mat. Slide your right arm wide open, grounding the shoulder as you look towards it, and begin to twist to your left, crossing the right thigh over you. Breathing in and out through the mouth. Make sure your right shoulder stays on the ground. It's okay not to go so much into the twist in order to keep that. You might use your left hand to gently nudge your right outer hip away from your right armpit, tractioning your lower back to release. 2 more breaths. And then come back to center, extending the right leg. Bend your left knee into your chest and sweep your pelvis closer to the left edge of your mat. Open your left arm wide, looking towards it as you ground the shoulder and slowly twist to your right. You might add using your right hand to gently nudge your left outer hip away from your left side body, helping to release tension from your lower back. Let's finish off with 2 more breaths here. As you roll onto your back, draw your bent knees into your chest, either happy baby, rocking, circling the legs, or just squeezing in. And then 1 more. Drink in a full breath, as if breathing into your whole body. Hold the breath in for a few seconds. Releasing through the mouth, make any sound as you splay out onto the floor. Feel free to grab any props you may need to support your body to rest. For a few minutes of stillness here, landing in Shavasana. As you keep your eyes closed, just notice the effects so far of your asana practice and the focus you've been practicing. And then pay attention to any part of your body that might be ready to move first. And just very gently, one by one, little by little, ease into motion. Just like you put intent into breathing balanced, into moving in synchronization with your breath, and that same intent into lovingly, mindfully awakening your body out of stillness. Choosing your own path of least resistance. As you feel ready, begin to make your way up into a comfortable seat. Allow your body to feel anchored to the surface below, as well as spacious, open, alert. And now I'd like to share that mudra again, Hakimi mudra. the name escaped me before, and it's bringing all the fingertips to touch of the opposite hands, hollowing the space between like a sphere. And then the elbows are just bent slightly away from the torso. The wrists are at the level of the elbows as you sit tall. Shoulders are relaxed. And just breathing naturally here. So as I mentioned before, the energy that this mudra cultivates is that of integration, of wholeness, of balance. As each finger represents the 5 natural elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, all conjoined here in union. For this 5-minute meditation practice, I invite you to come back to the intention that led you here today. Choosing one word that sums up one quality that you came here to cultivate, accentuate about your being. If you're a visual person, you might visualize a symbol of that quality. If you're more kinesthetic, you might bring the quality into your physical body and let it shape your posture. Notice how it feels to sit, embodying that quality. And as you allow your body to just breathe naturally, use that quality as your single point of focus. If you're a more auditory person, you might be chanting that word mentally to the cadence of your natural breath. If your attention goes astray, smile within and replace your attention back to your object of focus. Letting that quality inspire you to engage with how it feels through all your senses. What does it smell like? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? Your breath deepen again, joining your palms to meet at your heart, exhaling as you bow in reverence to your inner teacher, your inner guidance. Let's close this practice with one chant of Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.